Okay, scooter tramps and chopper jockeys all across the land. After a little bit of bullshit, it sounds like we're getting up and running with this week's episode of Shop Talk. I am Chris with Cycle Source Magazine, coming to you live from the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studios on street level. I'll never get used to saying street level. Crew?
Hey.
How's everybody this week?
I'm just glad I'm not walking up and down them damn steps.
I know, right?
50 floors.
I think the only saving grace now is that now that everybody is working from home, including like ABC and CBS and Fox and MSN,
I know where you're
they're all
going.
having these technical difficulties. So I don't feel bad anymore.
It makes it really hard to watch TV, Mark, because like when we're sitting there watching the newscast and
you catch it all.
Yeah. And
like,
it vindicates
there's
you
a
too.
lag.
Yeah. It feels good to see that they're fucking up too.
It's so great.
Right on, man. Hey, it's going to be a great show tonight. One of my favorite builders, super talented, and a great guy to be around, Josh Allison with Crybaby Cycles. And you guys will recognize Josh from all the stuff he's doing with OCC. We're going to talk about, of course, like we have been with several people, the impact of coronavirus, how at home and at work it's still making everything crazy for everybody.
There's a virus out there?
There is a virus. I know. You're on the front lines, Mark. We get it. You're on the front lines.
Whatever.
So listen, if this is your first time watching Shop Talk, we don't want you guys to just sit there and listen to us blabber on. You can participate in the conversation. Throw your comments up in the comment box. We'll try to get to those. Every once in a while, we've been known to do a call-in show, and I feel one of those coming real soon.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's been...
Yes.
We need to let everybody rant. I'll tell you what we need to do is we need to get past Election Day, and this is by no means a platform where I'm going to start talking about politics, because if one more person starts talking politics to me, I'll be like, hey, man, what'd you do the other day? And it's 45 minutes worth of their political debate. And I'm like, man, I didn't even ask you about any of that shit. Like, did you do anything with your motorcycle? Did you do something in the shop? Please.
Do what I do. Don't talk to anybody. Works out great.
Listen, when I grow up, I want to be just like you.
Hey, that takes a lot of work.
Please don't do that. Please.
So who do we got in the house tonight, Bloody? I got all rattled and forgot to say hi to everybody as we were coming on the show. Go ahead.
We have a Big D from Marengo, Illinois in the house. Mike Draco is here. Loctite is in the house. Nook Hildeberto from the Mitten. And Anthony Robinson from Gasoline and Coffee.
Oh, one of our favorite sponsors.
Yes. Mr. Nussbaum is in the house.
Hey, listen, I was saying this when we were coming on. Locke does the Low Life Chopper podcast. We should definitely get him set up to come on this show. You know, I love having...
This is really... I just caught myself with my tongue sticking out because I was looking at the comments and I forgot there was a camera in front of me.
Nice.
I'm sorry.
Nice.
Hey, watch. We got coyotes running outside. They're making weird noises.
Right?
Oh, Jesus. So
yeah,
listen...
I forget about that camera thingy.
The thing that I'm so happy to report is that we're about to put some diesel fuel in the mobile studio and hit the road, man. Willie's Chopper Time is right around the corner, and we're going to be there in full regalia. We got some new equipment we're going to try out with wireless cameras, so Heather's going to be out in the crowd, hopefully with Roadside, doing some remote stuff. And,
I don't know if I can do that with Roadside.
Yes, you can.
Can he be?
You be nice. That's my brother.
I blush too easy to hang out with Roadside.
It'll be funny. We'll come up with a special digital Heather blush meter for every time Roadside says something lewd that offends you.
That would be constantly.
Better put a lot of batteries in that
I will
thing.
say that for the most part, if I'm like that close to Roadside's proximity, he is always a gentleman.
Yes, he is. A good Southern gentleman he is.
So that
Yes,
means
he
till
is.
you turn around.
So, hey, this is Shop Talk. 45, 90, 120 minutes, all the bullshit we can fit. Generally, it's 90 to 120 minutes. And, a little bit of entertainment. We have some guests on. We start the whole thing off with a program we like to call The News. That's not the news. Let me try it again. The news.
Who thought they counted?
All this production, and it comes down to the idiot that's working the board. Oh my goodness. So go, Mark. What's up in the news?
I don't even know. I know what's up in the news. The politics has almost come to a stupid end.
Oh,
that's all I'm
thank
concerned
God,
about.
right?
Done with it.
Thank God.
Everybody shut up.
But there is other news. There is other news.
Anything good?
You know,
I'm
I
gonna
don't
go-
know
I'm
if
gonna
it's
go
a
to it.
good thing or a bad thing, but this week there wasn't actually a whole lot of news. It's almost like
I know the
we're
calm, the
we're
calm
back
before
at the
the storm.
beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's really strange. There's like not a whole lot going on out there right now. I'm not sure if I'm happy about that or if I'm a little nervous.
I'd be nervous.
I am nervous. Because I know when
think
when
so.
people in the motorcycle universe get quiet, the shit's about to hit the fan.
Yeah, shit goes down.
The rotary oscillator.
Hey,
is
look at that.
gonna-
Clint Wallace, Mark for president. That's a seriously
Dude,
bad idea.
Clinton,
I
have
was
you
actually-
been drinking?
I don't know, but he
Clinton.
put a post up about a piece of equipment he bought. Nobody likes to show off, Clinton.
Did he get him a norm spreader? Don't even
No,
say it to me,
no.
because if he did, I'm gonna be pissed.
It's an in the garage thing. I'm a little bit upset about it.
All right, man. Let's move
I'm
on to the
surprised
news.
you're
Like
not over the manure spreader,
I'm not.
based on all the news channels, because that's all they do all day.
there is nothing getting over not having a manure spreader when you need it, because there's only for a regular property owner, there's only 4 or 5 times in your life you need a manure spreader. But after you spread horse shit on an entire acre of grass, you realize,
Chris, you've been spreading that for 25 years.
ladies and gentlemen, my wife. Okay.
Only on his grass.
Can we
though,
talk
this
about
time.
motorcycles?
Moving on to the news. So not a lot of news, like Heather said, but some good pieces out here. Polaris Empower Sports Women's Riding Council. The future of power sports is female. Polaris launches inaugural Empower Sports Women's Riding Council. The council will unite 12 phenomenal female riders whose voices will drive increased participation, inclusion, and representation in the world of power sports. Whether on snow, dirt, asphalt, or sand, women are participating in power sports more than ever before and helped to expand and diversify the industry. To champion and sustain this growth, Polaris created the Empower Sports Women's Riding Council, made of 12 powerful women from all backgrounds, to uplift the passions that fuel women and put forth deliberate efforts for increased representation, inclusion, and participation. There's a lot of words there, man. Who does this
They
shit?
have a
There's
they
a-
have a pretty cool lineup though. Just run down it. You've got Michelle Barraza, Carrie Barton, Julianne Chapman, Amy David, Gavin Fax, who we've had on the show before. She was a great
Yeah,
guest.
she was.
Vicky Gray, Lisa Lockhart, Kristen Matlock, Jody Perowitz, who we all know, Portia Taylor, Jolene Van
Vogt.
View. She is a stunt woman with the Nitro Circus.
No,
we need to
have
talk to
her on the show, dude.
Yes, we need to talk to her. And Kelly Yadsey, Wild Gypsy Tour creator. So, I mean, it's a pretty cool lineup. They really have riders out there doing this Empower. So I think that's good. And, the majority of them we know are really good ambassadors to motorcycling. So I think it's a good deal.
This brings up something that I need to say real quick, and we're not going to do a whole lot of news right now because we're running a little bit late and our guest is already waiting on us. But as you guys know, anybody who's been following the magazine for over a decade now, we've been doing this year in review issue at the beginning of every year. In it, we include the People's Choice Awards and the best ofs for the year of motorcycling. And we decided this year to make you guys responsible for who the nominations were. Normally the way this starts off is we get a hold of a select group of our friends in the motorcycle industry, and we ask them for nominations for Man of the Year, Woman of the Year, Bike of the Year, Custom Part of the Year, all of that. This year, we're putting them up on social media one at a time. And what I have to tell you is, when I look at this incredible group of 12 women that Polaris has singled out for this Women's Riding Council, and having done the show with Chris Simmons every week on Coast to Coast, there's so many women that are in motorcycling today and doing so much incredible stuff. But on our post, we have... Unfortunately, we're getting the same 2 or 3 women that everybody wants to nominate. And there's no denying the fact that those 2 women are incredible women, but these are the nominations. This isn't the vote yet. So you can vote for your favorite 2 or 3 in a couple weeks, but right now we really need everybody to make sure that people that need to get the credit for this are nominated or on that list for voting. So pay attention to that stuff coming out. We're going to have, one at a time, like I said, Builder of the Year, Craftsman of the Year, Media Release of the Year. There's a lot of stuff. So
pay attention. This is a time where, in 2020 that everybody can use a little bump and a little bit of recognition and really try and put some thought into it.
Hey, Fred just said Jay Shea needs to be there. She is actually one of the women that did get nominated, so she's on.
Yes, she is.
Walter Kuro, we're definitely going to talk about that. Let's go to that one more story before we go to our guest this evening. The motorcycle industry, and this is with a heavy, heavy heart that I accept this horrible responsibility. The motorcycle industry this week lost an absolute legend, a pillar of our community, and the entire industry, the engineering behind it, the parts and everything, in Skeeter Todd. If you hadn't ever had the pleasure of knowing this man, he was incredible. He did, in one way or another, was involved with, it seems like, damn near everything in the industry, man. And just like it's so sad to think that some of the people who built this thing, like him, are gone, and we're going to be without the benefit of their inclusion. So our hearts go out to his family, and please, if you get a chance on any of these posts, throw your prayers up there too for them. So
absolutely. I always hate having to deliver that news, and it seems I have to deliver it more and more every day.
Hey, we're not getting one day younger. Take advantage of it while you have the chance, man.
Oh.
Says the man with the giant white beard.
Yeah. Hey, bad news has been in our recent weeks. So yeah.
What I say, like, right up to, like, there's been so many people from the motorcycle industry, but right up to Eddie Van Halen.
Yep.
2020 can literally kiss my ass, man. I'm so not joking about that. This has been one of the hardest years ever.
Yep.
And I hesitate to say that, because whenever you say that, it's going to prove you're wrong, because the next one's going to be worse. So it's not that bad. It could always be worse.
Oh, yeah, it could always be worse. But
so, because I remember coming out of 2019 going, 2020 is going to be better. And everybody I knew said 2020 is going to be better. Well, guess what? The joke was on us.
Oh. So listen, man, like I said, our guest is patiently waiting. We're going to get him on. Super talented. You guys are already, the comment section is fired up with the fact that he's going to be here. You guys are already passing along all his kudos. So we're just going to go ahead and give you what you're waiting for and bring on our guest for the hour. Everybody help me welcome to the show, Mr. Josh Allison. How you doing, man?
How you guys doing?
Yeah, I'm supposed to do this, right?
Yes.
Hey, listen, I'm a little slow on the draw tonight. That
I think
audio
our
thing
engineer
screwed me
hasn't
up.
had enough coffee today. Anthony, help us out.
Josh, what's going on, man?
How are you guys doing?
We're good. We're good.
Good. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Absolutely. In pre-show, Mark, I called Josh up and I was like, hey, let's just go over a couple things, so I'm not springing anything on you. And we ended up talking for like 45 minutes. I was like, dude, we got to stop because there's not going to be anything for the show, right?
Yeah, it's easy to bullshit with you guys about everything.
So let's start with, we want to humanize it, because so many people think you as the super builder, and your skill in that arena is undeniable. But we were talking about how home life through Corona, for most people that we know, has just become an absolute train wreck.
Train wreck. And I mean, we never saw this coming. And one, it's because, my wife and I didn't want to be teachers. And so now you're trying to be teachers, you're trying to balance work. And my wife is working completely remote, and all of that tied together, it's been a lot. And I mean, honestly, I can't even complain because my wife is taking the brunt of it, but it's been rough.
Well, and the funny thing is, like, we came up through a generation where, well, at least me, I'm a little bit older. So when I was young, it was still that situation where only one person had to be like the dedicated breadwinner of the house. You know what I mean? But through my generation, it quickly became that, both parents were working most of the time, and like to see it go back to where, people have to be involved day to day for the education of their kids. Like it's heavy for everybody. That's Heather said something about she doesn't understand why, alcohol sales are so high. I'm like, are you kidding me? People are home with their kids, dude.
The worst part about it too is like you get to the point where you realize that your child's 5th grade math is maybe sometimes above your skill set. Like it's amazing how all of a sudden you're like, I'm an idiot. I can't believe that I can't figure this shit out. Yeah, that's funny.
I mean, one of the things we deal with constantly on our end is, what you guys experienced and talked about starting the show. We constantly are running into all these technical issues and computers, internet, all this stuff. And sometimes overcomplicated programs that they're trying to teach 2nd graders, like learning to split your screen and then go start another program so that you can watch that program happening as a teacher. And it's just like, oh my God.
They're trying to teach that to 2nd graders. I'm 45. I just learned how to do that.
Oh, it's horrible. And my kid's way better than me on the computer already. He's like, oh, Dad, watch this. And I'm like, good thing you knew how to do that, because I couldn't have done that.
I'm just going to go back out in the garage.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
I give all the moms and dads that are home with their kids throughout this the utmost credit. It's been a long time since my children were small. I just don't know if I could do it now. I really don't. So kudos to everybody that's out there doing it successfully, because you're still,
I agree.
I don't know how you guys do it.
I'll tell you what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for somebody to put together that compilation of all the videos where from somebody's 3rd grade like Zoom school when they're doing the Zoom learning, and mom walks past in her bra and underwear.
Oh yeah.
We've seen
a bunch of that.
We've had great ones. We've had teachers that thought they were muted, cussing. We've had dads in the background without their shirts off, cussing. Like, everybody's had these snap moments on the computer because you forget to mute yourself. We're not used to this life. It's hilarious.
Right on. So, Crybaby Cycles, I mean, you were all over the place with your motorcycles, and your motorcycles have been in Cycle Source magazine before. They've been all over the place.
Yeah, very honored.
Your talent is incredible.
Thank you.
But then you get the call and you take the family and move to New York, right?
Yeah, big change. It's been a year and a half now. And incredible change. And then, going through what New York has been going through with COVID and everything, it's been wild. I've never seen anything like it, but also adjusting. And, upstate New York, we're a little bit out of the city, so that helps a lot. And it's beautiful here. This time of year is gorgeous.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that helps. Nice riding and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, man, that sucks though. Like when you say that year and a half, it puts it in perspective that, more than half of that time now has been while we're dealing with all this with COVID, right?
It's crazy how long it's been. This started, what was it, last March or whatever, and it's been a long summer, to say the least, and it feels like it's still going. Luckily things opened up around here enough to where you have some normalcy. We can go back out to eat, we can go to stores, and to a certain degree, but it's changed the course of this year, building at the shop, the projects, and what people are wanting to do right now. It's hard.
Yeah. Well, I can see, one of the things we were going to talk about was your Born Free bike, and how, the heartbreak of this whole year has been the fact that, just when you're getting ready to get packed and get ready to go to something, you find out that it's closed, so mentally you make an adjustment, you start working towards the next thing, then you hear that that's shut down, and it's just one thing like that after another. But when it comes to your Born Free bike, I mean, like, that's a major commitment. I can't even imagine how that took the wind out of your sails to find out that was going to be put on hold.
With Born Free, a lot of shows, you put in for an invite, you plan, but your bike's already ready and you go to the show, But for Born Free, it's been, 9 months of intensely building, getting the bike ready. You throw everything into it, all your money, all your time. And all of us, at least as far as I know, all the 25 invited builders, we all have full-time jobs. They all have to keep shops open. We have to go to work every day. So every time we're building these bikes too, it's on our own time that we're trying to find away from our families, late at night, all-nighters. And so it was pretty devastating, when it first got moved back from June to September. And then as we approached September, I think that, I talked to Hawk from Vintage and a couple other dudes that were just like, oh, I don't know. I think it's going to get squashed. And I know that, Mike and Grant tried as hard as they possibly could to keep it going. And it finally fell through, and I could probably speak for all of us. It hurt. It didn't feel great.
So we touched on this briefly yesterday, Josh. Now, pretty much, and I'll say this again, every bike you build is just amazing, and they're all beautiful.
Thanks, guys. Too kind.
And this is absolutely no exception. But you're not the exception to the rule when I say people really put their all and go above and beyond for their Born Free bike. What is it about that makes you want to go the extra step and truly put out the best of the best? Because again, you're not the exception to the people that do that.
I think that Born Free has captured this environment and has done something a little bit different than all the other shows on. When you get invited to it, it's this big honor. And the reason why is because instead of, showing up to a show, maybe you get posted on your bike a little bit. Maybe they'll post you with an invite, or there's some aftermath. Born Free takes you as an invited builder and says, all right, man, for this 9 months, what we're going to do is we're going to show you, we're going to showcase your talents, we're going to showcase your build, and we're going to get intimate and really push who you are as a builder and really try to showcase what your strong suits are over this long course of time. So awesome. You really get familiar with your audience, and Born Free really helps push that. And then once you get to the show, you're treated special. They really pump your bikes there. You're a part of this elite group, and the opportunities, the awards, the people that see your bike. I mean, it's just huge. It's nothing like I've ever really, experienced before. And Mike and Grant give so much. I mean, we get all these cool, gifts and things that they help us do. They accommodate us by hotels, trying to get us there. They really help you make sure that you can make it with your bike. And then, whoever wins, they get the Moon Eyes trip. When I went in 10, I got the Art and Wheels invite. So you really get your bike in front of the masses in a really powerful way. And as a builder and, all of us trying to make a living out of building motorcycles, it's just really an amazing thing they do, and they really get behind us. So when you are a part of it, you want to make sure that you're given 110% to capitalize on that opportunity.
And that's nice too, because in a lot of senses, people don't realize builders don't get any, any special treatment. Like, you show up at a show, you hustle to get the bike done, you hustle to get it there. You're just another one of the guys once you show up. So yeah, for them to go the extra mile makes you feel like you're getting something back finally. So which is pretty awesome.
Well,
Mike and Grant really understand, really get it. They really try to help that, and we all appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. You make a lot of new friends and connections, and we all try to support each other as builders, and it's just it's an amazing experience. And for everybody that hasn't gone to the show, it's so big and so massive and so wild, and still to this day, I mean, some of the most talented builders and bikes that I've ever seen. Like, it's mind-blowing. And not just from the invited builders, but from the special guests, the grass pass, the parking lot, just the dudes from California that are showing up with their builds. I mean, it's incredible.
Well, for all that makes that a special show, but I want to make sure that we give Mike and Grant some extra credit for the way that they do treat the builders, because, man, I have to tell you, like, we're involved in a lot of promotions throughout the year.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we key on all the time is telling event promoters, like, hey, man, remember to keep the motorcycle in the motorcycle rally. Yeah. You know what I mean? And, like, what I've seen over the years, and I'm ashamed to say that our industry has done this, is, like, it's almost like you guys have been taken for granted that, that you need to be there to show people your motorcycles. And I think a little bit of that gratitude for exceptional creations. And I'm taking this the whole way, like, no disrespect to you, dude, but the whole way down to the street level guy, that this is the one and only bike that he's ever going to build. Yeah. And he's been working on it for years. Yep. Like, them cats all need a little bit of that recognition for making it to the show, and it's so good to see some, you know, people like the guys at Born Free doing that. So hats off to them.
Yeah, I mean, those guys are OGs. They've been doing this a long time. And I think what, you know, they're really, truly hardcore. They're bike guys. They understand it. They're Southern California dudes. They've been around it their whole life. And they really, you know, they really get to the core and appreciate what it is to build what we consider some of the best bikes that, you know, we're trying to put out.
Right on. Right on. So tons of people on here, you know, giving you shouts out and everything. I have to tell you, the one that was funny is like right before we were getting ready to come on show, and I'm going to bring this up just because it's funny. I was talking to Rhett Rotten, and Rhett sent along a series of pictures.
We had a great time. You know, that was one of the coolest things that I've ever experienced, and that was in Colorado. That was way back at the Forge when I built that BSA. He came down and he allowed me and my brother to go inside of the whole thing, and he rode the bikes around us as we were sitting in the dome, and it was like, it blew my mind. And then he stops and he's like, "Hey man, you want to jump on the bike and try it?" And it was like, no, no, man, I'm gonna die. But
you're a smarter man than most.
Weekend, and it was insane.
You're a smarter man than most saying no right there. Let me tell you. So,
but you know what is what's funny about that, man, is like, I can't wait to get Rhett on the show, and in getting ready for him, because he's coming on in like 2 weeks now. Okay. And in getting ready for him, you know, he's telling me so many stories about other people and other stuff. Like he's one of those cats that, you know, this is supposed to be his show, and he's giving me, you know, ammunition for other shows. He's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, good guy. We had a great time, and he was so kind. One of the nicest dudes I met. Just like I said, opened up everything of his life for us, and it was really a special memory that I'll always have of an experience of motorcycling because of a dude, you know, because of a nice guy.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, man. Like I've been a fan of your work for a long time, and what I've always dug is the non-conventional approach that you take to things. You know, when you look at some of the things that would be simple things, the way pipes mount, the way a gas tank mounts, the way an oil tank would mount, and your approach to it is what really, it's not like you're doing anything big and gaudy or super trick from an engineering standpoint. It's just different ways that you do it. Yeah, it's so badass.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You know, one of the things that I constantly talk about is, you know, even though we're building show bikes and we're trying to build these works of art, you got to be able to ride the motorcycle. Yep. It's got to go down the road, and not just a block or two. It's got to rip. And so one of the things is, you know, for me, mechanically and stuff, I try to look at how it's going to ride and how it's going to perform. Yeah. And then what I try to focus on to just kind of go away from that on the making it more custom is, how does a gas tank mount? How can it be more unique? You know, how can you separate yourself a little bit on those little finer details? And I think if you collectively pull that together, you can have something that, you know, is special and not too loud, you know? Yeah. I still really, really love traditional, you know, bikes, always will. And so I walk that line, you know?
You know, I got to tell you something that's funny about that too, because, you know, through the years, like you get a preconceived idea about things, and, you know, sometimes I'll admit myself even that I don't pay enough attention to know better. And we had the privilege of having Senior on the show not too long ago. Yeah. And when we got all of his assets for the show, I could not believe how much like old influence he has and how much he digs the old shit.
I mean, that was a big thing that shocked me, and a big reason why we decided to work together. And I even came down here is because that's where we really connected, and that's the direction that we both wanted the shop to go in his new direction. You know, for me, he's had this whole big past and this giant successful career, but it was building a lot of those bikes that we talked about aren't so rideable and maybe just a little bit loud for my taste. And he agreed, and he said, you know, where we want to be is a more relevant shop and really get together. And as he shared all of his bikes that he used to ride and that he used to build before the TV show, it was just, they were awesome, you know? choppers, and he appreciated all kinds of motorcycles. And a lot of people, we always talk about that, don't know that about him.
Yeah. No, it was great to have him on, man. It really was.
Yeah, great guy, man.
So we're gonna skip ahead a little bit and talk about the Dream Chopper.
Yeah.
So tell everybody a little bit about this.
So that was kind of crazy. So what it is Crovo is the company that reached out to us, and what they do is a bunch of online like competitions and contests. They're massive at it. One of the biggest companies, or maybe if I don't want to speak out of line, but the biggest company that really can push a product and push these. So what they decided to do is this huge marketing thing where anybody, now they've opened it up, I think just internationally, can win this chance to come to Orange County Choppers with me and Paul, Jason, design a bike, tell us about what your dream chopper, might look like that, or this, or man, as a kid, I thought about this, or this is my dream, and influence that. And we build this amazing bike, and then they get to be in Cycle Source magazine.
Dude, that's so great.
It's really a dream come true for somebody to be able to walk away with a custom motorcycle, get in a magazine, and try to have this just real once in a life experience and opportunity that, I mean, how many people get that?
And listen, I'm going to admit fully to you, I'm going to be a total pain in the ass, because as much of that as I can possibly capture, you guys doing that, I'm going to be there. So like, you guys are going to get tired.
Love to have you, man. And it's so cool that we're, getting to do it with you guys. You guys are so great, been around forever, understand the industry, understand motorcycling, and, it's a dream. Most people, it's a dream to get into a magazine and have something that they're a part of. I mean, it's a big honor. It's a big deal.
Just to bring the people in and have them be a part of the actual build is.
Oh yeah.
It's as much of a pain in the ass as it is huge. But on the other hand,
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it's gonna.
I can't even imagine. Like, listen, behind the scenes, you guys got to be talking about hoping and praying that it's not going to be there's somebody that's a total squid in the shop, right? Because
and. I think we're just going to cross that when it happens, and we'll deal with it as it comes. And, and hopefully no matter what the ideas are, no matter what it is, we're going to manifest this into just some kick-ass bike.
Oh, see, wait, this is where my mind goes. I'm immediately going to the place where I'm like, okay, so what if the guy comes in and he's like, look, I want like a 420 tire on the front and back of the bike. Like, the bike that Batman rode?
Or
that's
a Vespa.
And then you know what you say? No.
Yeah, no. I wonder if you can build me a custom Vespa.
Don't do that. So, hey, David Crum is asking how you enter. Let me bring the website back up, because I think right there's a register. Yeah. And at the bottom of the screen there, you just put your name. It's super easy,
super simple. Yeah, and as it progresses, they're going to start doing more stuff with that. They're going to start sharing people's profiles that are entered and whatnot, and pumping it a little bit. And if I'm right, I think it ends on December 17th is when they pick the winner.
No.
So, are there any parameters like somebody like me, I'm going to come to you and say, all right, I want a knucklehead, or I want a panhead. What are your parameters for somebody's dream build? Because depending on who you get.
Yeah, well, I mean, and so people need to understand too, there definitely is parameters. And what they're going to be more involved with is more of the design and how they want the bike to look, because we're going to be using SNS Evo motor. We have a Baker transmission. We have a BBL belt drive, and we have a nice hardtail frame. What we wanted to do is really pick a foundation that we felt like is going to be a really rideable motorcycle that's going to perform long term. Yeah. And I think with those products, that's the best that the industry is going to offer. And so we kind of want to pick that just in case it did get a little wild and crazy. So a lot of this is design. How do you want the bike to look? What kind of wheels do you want? What kind of front end do you want? Mm-hmm. What's the flow of the gas tank in your colors and stuff like that?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it really is.
And I hate to say, I hope it goes to somebody who really wants a motorcycle and will really ride it, but somebody that hasn't
somebody
been
that
in the
wants
design
that experience
aspect of it before.
Yeah.
So they can learn from the process and really be part of making something great.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about that too. One of the things I've always loved is I love teaching. And it's so crazy too that when you're teaching someone, how many times I've learned from that person as well.
Oh my God, yeah.
And how many ideas you can get from another person too, where you're like, oh my God, my mind didn't think that way. But now that you said it, holy shit, look at what we're coming up with. So I think it's going to be great. And I hope they push us. And I hope at the end of it, we have an absolutely amazing motorcycle. And, you know, we want to represent you guys too. You know, I want you guys to be super proud to have this bike in the magazine.
There's going to be no doubt
Yeah,
there,
because like
dude.
if it's the Batman bike, it's not happening.
I like Batman. Wait a minute.
When I was talking to Como, I said, you know, they're on board about the magazine, the cover possibly, but, you know, this has to be a kick-ass bike, right? You get that.
Well, it was funny because when they called us and asked us, and they're like, yeah, we want the cover. Chris and I were like,
This could be really good.
I know, and I just
could
told
be
them,
really bad.
I threw the buck on you on that one. I'm like, yeah, you need to call them.
You know, now we do 2 covers, one on the outside, one on just in the inside.
Yeah, it's a special cover.
I'll be honest. We're like, you know, just so you know, we don't sell the cover, so it's really got to be a Cycle Source bike. And he's like, okay.
Well, and I think that's the biggest thing, man. Like in this deal, we're not. I'm not making anything off of doing this. I signed on because I really believe in what you guys are doing. You're giving somebody a chance to come into a world-class facility, work with the best parts in our industry, take cues from some of the best designers in our industry, and be part of a process that they may never have had access to. I think this is all class what you guys are doing.
Well, we appreciate that, and I think that's why we were confident enough to say, hey, we can get behind this, we can do this. And I'm confident enough at the end of the day, no matter what they come up with or want, that we can do it tastefully, we can do it badass, amazing, whatever word that you want to use, and have this really rideable, amazing motorcycle that hopefully, you know, they cherish forever and have a great time on.
Hey, Caleb Wolger is coming in from YouTube, and he says the best excitement is when the bike is done and you feel you have completed your destiny. And man, I'll tell you what, that is absolutely the truth. Like, you know, a dozen or so bikes in now to the bikes that Mark and I have done, and like it never stops being like that. When you get finished and you roll that bike off of the table,
back and take a look at it.
Yeah, it is. It's like
there's nothing like it. And a lot of people ask me that question too, and it's something that I always tell people: when you work so hard and you have these ideas in your head, and you brought them to life, and you get on that bike and it fires and you're ripping it down the road, there's no greater, more rewarding feeling.
You know,
and like you said, no matter how many times you do it, it never goes away. It's always that same feeling. I mean, it's like a drug. That's why we keep doing this.
Yeah, not even just for the finished product, but some of the cool little tiny ideas. I mean, obviously looking at some of the bikes you build, you have to do this too.
Oh my God.
Like you get all done and you like say something like the center of your gas tank or a mount or something, and you're like, dude, that's freaking badass. And like you gloat on it for 2 days, you know? Like it's not just the end product, it's the amazement of you actually pulled the freaking thing off, you know?
Well, listen, I got to say, I don't believe we're as dysfunctional as he is, because like honestly, man, like if this cat didn't have all these details to throw at a motorcycle, I can't imagine what a lunatic, like gun-toting drug addict you would be for nothing to do with your hands like that. Because where do you even come up with shit like that, dude?
Well, I mean, a lot of it, if we're to be honest too, and you can speak to my wife about this, there is that amazing when you're riding down the road and you're finally happy and all that, but there's also a moment of, I look at that gas tank mount like you were talking about. I look at all the things and how they're still not right, or
dude,
the moment of hate I have with every build.
The greatest
but
part,
I think that's usually the sleepless nights and the working around the clock to finish the show. By the end of it, sometimes you have to step back, but it is the appreciation of what you did with your own 2 hands, and that you built it and that you trimmed it up.
The greatest thing for us is whenever Chris calls while I'm working and says, dude, I figured this out, I got it on, and I walk in, I'm like, I'm 3 feet into the garage, I'm like, yeah, it's crooked. That's like one of my favorite things.
I'm like, but yeah, look at the shape though, dude. I'll fix the crooked part, but look at the shape. I was talking about the shape.
And you're smart to have that bigger open view of it. That's how you got to look at it, so you don't ruin it. Because I'm the other end. I'll go all weird crackheady on it, and come home and throw fits and not sleep and do
Yeah.
it 3 times. And, yeah.
And then go back to the first one again. After you build 3 of them, you're like, I like this
Oh,
first time.
yeah. I mean, I'll be the first to admit, you know, things don't always work out. And a lot of the stuff that all of us builders do, and some of the guys that, you know, I consider the top of the top, what we go through on the build process and the struggle and trying to make things work sometimes, especially crazy dudes like CT Newman and Hawk and a lot of these crazy mechanical, just nutty guys, it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, there's a whole crew out there that are taking us to a really incredible level, and that's, you know, what we talk about. Like, even like the bikes that I build are inspired by my old man and his buddies, right? And when I was building my first like real chopper was my 49 Panhead, and I tell this story all the time how, like, you know, in my mind I had lost all my pictures and everything in a fire, and in my mind, they rode these incredible motorcycles that were obviously like ridden by Zeus and handed down from God, you know, and like they were just incredible. Well, pretty soon we were at the end of the build, and somebody that knew my old man walked in with some pictures in a shoebox. They were the most cobbled together pieces of shit that I've ever seen 100%. In my life. But, you know, to me, they were perfect.
Yeah, I heard the story about there was no chain. It was a lightning bolt that made the rear wheel move and stuff like that. Yeah.
But even still, Chris, since you built that 49 Panhead, you've had the pleasure of building several bikes since then.
And my skill set has come. But what I'm saying is, like, what these guys are doing now, what you're doing with motorcycles, dude, and what you can do with the equipment that's there, and like the advancements of this. If the old chopper guys saw, if the old chopper guys saw this stuff, like, they would just be like, "Are you kidding me?"
The gods did make that.
But we talk about this a lot in this industry. You know, and it's funny because I consider myself in the industry like way down here still. I mean, I can rattle off 10 guys right now that are just like, you know, bikes way better. I mean, there's amazing builders, but it's about what we all try to do is push each other. We talk about that constantly. You know, you see this guy's bike and that inspires you. This guy's killing it, so you want to step up your game.
Right.
And you've seen the industry over the past 10 years do that.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not go to one of these shows that have been happening in the last 5 to 10 years and look at these incredible bikes and be like, oh my God, I got to step it up. I mean, I think it pushes us all in a really good way.
I'd really like to see, because of what you're saying right now, I can't remember, how long has it been since Michael Lichter's original Naked Truth show?
Almost 5 years.
I'd like to see a Naked Truth Part 2.
Yeah.
You know, with all of the guys.
That was a good show. Yep. That was a good show.
Absolutely. At the time, I thought that was the best it was ever going to be, you know?
It's incredible.
That's pretty close to one of the best there ever was. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Heather had a question earlier about the inspiration. Yeah. You know, who does inspire you?
Yeah, who does inspire you, Josh? Where do you draw your inspiration from?
I mean, if I really had to look at what I think of true craftsmanship of just building and the art, you know, and of course I'm a metal guy, so I love design and metal shaping and stuff. But Christian Sosa from Sosa Metalworks is absolutely just a genius, and the way his bikes are, and if you listen to him talk about his ideas and how he thinks about it. And it's just absolutely, I don't even know how to really put words to him. He's an incredible human. I mean, we've had some of the greatest times with him, but his bikes are just, that's a dude that I look up to. Max Hazan from, you know, incredible builder too, kind of a different style of bike. But I mean, these guys are doing things and talk about ideas where I'm just like, I don't even know how you thought of that.
Yeah.
It's so incredible. And so it makes you sit down and think about yourself a little deeper, think about your design a little deeper and what you're doing. And of course we all have our style, what we like, you know, bike wise and whatnot, but those two always really stand out to me as very, you know, artists.
Well, and you said too, like, you know, I take inspiration, man, like Mondo and Bear and all the old guys, you know. But like when I look at the young guys, man, like seriously, you're a big inspiration a lot. Like I see the details that you and Ryan and these guys are putting in their bikes, and it makes me want to do more. But you brought up Christian Newman earlier. This cat, man, like he's crazy. His latest shit has just gone to another planet. Like no shit. I watch his stuff and I'm just blown away by
His
some of the
stainless
stuff.
steel knuckle, it was just, that one blew me away. And this year's bike that he's doing for Born Free 12, I mean, unbelievable. You know, Hawk from Vintage Technologies, unbelievable. And those guys are cool too to me because they're so mechanically crazy. You know, when CT Newman started narrowing trannies and all this, it was like, what are you doing?
Right.
You're narrowing a tranny?
Right.
What? Like, it's crazy, man. It's a wild thing. And, you know, Max is great at that. And we live in a world where there's just incredible builders and incredible talent.
Well,
I mean, I feel
love
lucky
it. I love
to even be anywhere in it, you know?
Love that you guys are smashing the barriers. Let's talk about one of the recent builds. I think it was the last build off of the most recent show, right? The ABC bike.
Yeah, the ABC chopper we did. Yeah.
So I'm gonna bring some pictures up while we're talking about that. But
that was a fun bike. You know, that was the 2-hour special we just did on Discovery that came out on August 4th. ABC Supply Company is a huge nationwide supply company, and they do all kinds of products for, you know, the building industry. And they came to us and they said, hey, man, we really want this cool bike. We want it to represent our company, but we also don't want it to be a parade float, you know, and hopefully we're getting the word out today too, more and more, that that's what we're trying to focus on at Orange County Choppers, is super rideable, beautiful choppers that, yes, it can represent you and your company, but we can do this in an amazing way. And I just got some pictures this weekend from Paul saying that they just did a 300-mile ride on the bike.
Oh, no kidding.
So we're all very proud of that too, because as we know, motorcycles should be ridden, and they can also be beautiful. So it was fun. It was a good bike, great company, and it was another crazy experience, man. You start shooting these motorcycles with Discovery and doing the TV show, and it's stressful, it's crazy, but at the end of the day, it's one of those things where you get done and you do the unveil, it's really rewarding.
Now, are you allowed to give away any of the premise of the show, or does that violate anything for?
No, I mean, when we're shooting for the show, we can post a little bit, but we can't really give too many big things away. There's been times where I've posted and I've had to take it down or whatnot. And then after the show airs, then we can really, you know, talk about it, whatever, get into it. We've done podcasts talking about it and whatnot. So it was wild too, because it was going back to Paul's old shop, really talked about his life and where it all began and where it is now. And then they brought Junior in too. So it was a co-build with his team and us, trying to figure out what that bike looked like and what it was. And you'll have to watch it because it definitely got a little bumpy.
Right on.
Shocking with that crew, right?
Well, yeah. And also you have two different shops with completely two different mindsets of motorcycles, how they should look, how they should be. So it was tough, you know, it wasn't an easy build.
And forgive me if I'm speaking out of turn, but it looks like you had a lot of influence on that motorcycle.
Yeah.
You
that
had
was
a significant amount based on the style and overall aesthetic.
Yeah, and once again, that's me and Paul trying to push our motorcycles down a more relevant, you know, place and look. And what we like is choppers. We like old school, more traditional looking bikes, but with a blend of nice design, super high-end metalwork, and a bike that really can functions. And like I said, out of everything that happened with the show and that bike, I was so happy that they just went on a 300-mile ride with it.
Obviously you pushing the rideable, you know, old school chopper thing. And God, not to take away from anybody else who's ever worked with that crew, because there's some incredible talent that has been involved there in history. But yeah, obviously different. So your influence was a piece of that, no questions asked. So,
dude, let's talk about that tank.
Woo, that tank was tough, man.
Right.
that tank was tough on many reasons. One, it's an insane amount of metal work to even get those shapes and to make that happen.
Yeah.
But then on top of it, you can see that little shop that we're in. That was their old shop. All right. This whole thing started on the TV show. That is an old still shop that was Paul's. And this is where they, you know, started building the bikes. Well, this is in the middle of winter. The heater wasn't working. It's cold as hell. I'm doing almost everything on that tank with like hand tools. Yeah. We try to bring in like a power hammer and an English wheel. So not only was the tank super hard, but the environment was even harder. Yeah. It was a tough build, man. That down tube was insane. We almost someone almost died twisting that down tube. That was crazy.
What's the story with that?
So instead of just doing like a traditional twisted down tube, I wanted to try to do something different. And so what I came up with is we had 2 pieces of circle stock and 2 pieces of square stock, and then twisting those together to get a sharp and a round line. So we have this crazy twister machine, and what it does is there's 2 dies on each side. You put the piece of steel in there, and then the machine will twist it up. Now, this machine can twist up to, I think it was 2-inch tubing. I mean, like insane, right? This thing's got enough torque to like whatever you want to snap. So there was all these different experiments on how to twist this right, how the dies were going to lock up and whatnot. If you heated it up compared to if you didn't heat it up, trying to make it straight because you only have one shot at it.
Oh yeah.
So we did a couple pieces, right? And it was going pretty good. And so me and Paul were all locked up. We get it in there. We're ready to go. And we start twisting. Now, you can't do it too fast. You can't do it too slow. We tried heat. Everybody asked about that, but it can warp it. It won't stay straight. Well, on the end of the machine, it's an open die so that you can slide the die in and out. Well, I always look down that to say, to see when it's dialed straight and to clock it and tell Paul, hey, a little bit more, a little bit less, whatnot, and push the boundaries before the metal starts to shear. So I've been looking down it. We're looking at the piece of, tubing twisting. The camera guy, Andy, one of my good friends, he's looking down it and he's shooting. And we're all sitting there and we're kind of getting towards the end, and you can feel it when you're twisting it that it's a little sketchy, to say the least. Next thing you know, you hear bam! And a big chunk of that sucker got so bound up in there that it shot it all the way across the shop.
No.
It went through a glass window and stuck into a brick wall.
Wow.
And about 2 minutes before that, I had my ugly mug looking down that, telling Paul where to clock it. And Andy just went in and shot it and was standing on the end looking at us. And right as he came around, it shot out of there.
Wow.
Oh.
It would have either killed me if it hit me in the face, or probably went through Andy if it would have shot him in the stomach.
I might have had to change my pants.
Oh, there was a moment. There was a huge moment where we all had to walk away. The whole film crew was like, it was gnarly. But they showed on the TV show. We did some posts on it on social media, but it was wild.
It's amazing whenever you're doing, especially when it comes to twisted metal, because we've done a little of that ourselves.
Yeah.
You put yourself in such a situation with the heat. And, I mean, we did a piece of 2-inch by hand that we made this totally gnarly jig that we're like, nothing's going to break that. It literally broke that thing.
Oh,
yeah.
So
it's insane, right?
Yeah. You put
and we
yourself,
ended up doing it cold.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put yourself in a position where there can be an epic failure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Shooting
was
a
scary.
piece of steel into a cement wall.
That's serious.
Oh, it was like a shotgun. I've never seen anything like it in a shop. And I just thank God no one got hit by it.
Well, in high school, I had a shop class, and they always tell you to watch out for the tanks. I got in like 10th grade, I got my first lesson on how dangerous it is by somebody screwing around and knocking the top off of an oxygen tank.
Oh my! I can't imagine.
Dude, watching that thing shoot through 2 block walls, and right there, I knew there's not a damn thing in this room you play with. So
yeah.
I
learned from an early age too to take it very serious.
Yep.
But it was just I just never thought about it. It just and when you're shooting, it's chaos. You're trying to figure this out. We're already done it a bunch of times. It's stressful, and it just never dawned anybody that maybe this could pressure shoot out the end of it.
Well, thank God it came out okay. I mean, not the block that it stuck into, but that's nuts.
So hey, you guys are doing a ton of stuff. I mean, you're one of the most active people in this whole industry too, on top of the time you're spending in the shop. But going through the OCC site, I see you guys have a podcast going on. There's no shortage of media time. Where's the best place for people to keep up with you, where you can keep track of what you're doing and what's happening at OCC?
I think right now, especially with everything, everything's ramping back up. We got some cool builds coming back on, but with everything, it's our social media. You can get on Orange County Choppers, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram. I'm Joshua8787 on Instagram. Obviously, Paul Sr. You got Jason. I mean, Joni's on there. The whole crew, the whole world, right, is on social media. So it's one of the easiest things. I haven't posted on Crybaby Cycles in a long time. I've kind of backburnered that. So all the main content that we're doing is off my personal page.
Okay,
And
right
then
on.
Paul's
And I
and
have to apologize because I get it stuck in my head. When I meet somebody a certain way, they're that way forever.
yeah.
Our
So
bad.
I'm
No,
sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. And, it's still me. It's still a part of my life and always will be. And and I don't know what the future is going to bring with it, but no, a lot of people do. It's fine. And everybody knows
And
me
I
as the
know,
same.
like, yeah, and I know better. I know the other ones. That's just how it's stuck in my head.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah. But yeah, that's where I've been posting the last basically year and a half of my life is off my personal account now. Everything we do at the shop, all my personal stuff, all the TV stuff, all that is off of Joshua8787.
We'll share that
Well,
again.
I
see.
think the cool thing is that, or the good thing is that you need to keep that, your history going also.
Yeah.
You know
Oh,
what I mean?
yeah.
Because
It's a big part of me and always will be.
In a
Yeah.
long senses, not saying that the transformation through OCC's jump from people to people, this could turn you into even a bigger side on your own project. You know what I mean? So it's nice that you're not letting that go. I've seen a lot of people take
Yeah.
take on a new endeavor and like, oh, that was history. Not to let that piece of your history go, because in all reality, I look at stuff that you did from back then, like the OCC stuff. I'll look at, by the time I'm grabbing that, you'll be back to your old self again. You know what I mean? So, not to say the OCC is not going to be good for you and all that, but which obviously it is. But
Yeah.
never let go of that backside. That's where you came from. Those are your roots. I mean,
Yeah, man, we all have a history, and like you said, there's a lot
and
of
you
stuff
killed
I
it in
did.
that history. I mean, you created such a great product that it brought you to where you are right now.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. You guys are very kind. Always so nice. So nice.
Right
Well,
on,
it's
man.
easy when you're a craftsman like you. It's easy
Yeah.
to tell you how good it is,
And
because
it's
we're not
you.
the ones that are gonna lie to you. Like, we're the
Which
ones that are gonna be
which
like,
I love. I'm not one to hold back either. So I always love it because I've had people come up too and just be like, "Yeah, that's dog shit."
yeah, and it's fun. Yeah, right. It's fun
And
from
I'm like,
our end.
no, I love it. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, let's talk about this.
Yep.
You know what? Why do you think they're dog shit? And I mean, I love everybody has an opinion, and not everything, just because we do it as builders, is the right way or the coolest. So I like it when people say, "Yeah, I don't like that."
Well, that's the cool thing about seeing stuff that you build, and like all the people that we hang out in different builders, because whenever you bring something to the table, you almost look for the little bad spot, so you can bring
Yeah.
it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not
Right.
even as like, oh, dude, the bike's shit, but you can find that one little tiny flaw that I know
Well,
has kept you up at night.
Hey, listen, and like he said earlier,
Yeah.
the nicest shit that you do, you're still the one that from across
Yep.
the room can pick it
See
out.
it.
And listen, when you have somebody that's really close to your heart, you can have that kind of relationship
Yep.
that, like us with Pat Patterson.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
can look over at something Pat did and go, "Hey, what happened down there by the seat?"
Remember
or
that?
he'll say some shit to us like, "Hey,
It's awesome.
what happened to the fender on the left side there a little bit?"
And
Chris
nobody
will
else
ask
notices.
me. He'll be like,
yeah.
"Hey, what do you think of this?" And I'll be like, "I will walk to the other side of the room
Yeah.
and then tell him what I think."
I was just gonna say, who is the best with me at that is my wife.
Yeah.
My wife does not hold back.
Yeah, your wife will
respect
not
her opinion
bullshit you.
but she's like, I'll do some stuff, and she's like, "That's the dumbest shit ever." Like, why would you even want to do that? Yeah.
Oh shit.
What possessed you to do something
It was
that
funny
dumb?
too with my Born Free build, talking about her is, in the beginning before all this, and where she ended up having to be with work in Kingston, she really jumped in and was a part of the Born Free 12 build in the beginning, and it was helping me out. And like, she picked the color of the bike, and I'll be honest with you, we were at PBG and I was like, this is dog shit. And she's like, "No, I'm telling you, this is it." And at the end of the day, it's like I'm in love with it. And so she really helps me bounce ideas off, or just have some creative sense with her too. It's a fun thing to have with somebody.
Oh yeah, dude. We're super lucky. We're doing a paint job right now for a friend, and the other night at my garage at my house where we do all the paint work, we had all four of us, me and Chris and Dana and Heather, in there picking and check in, and I'm like, and it was like 4 different people, you know, Heather saying something, Chris's and Dana's, and I'm like, oh, my head's ready to explode. And when it was all over and Chris and Heather had left and we went in, and Dana was like, dude, that was awesome. You know, we had so much freaking fun, and that all those heads coming together, but so cool to have those people behind you that, you know, aren't afraid to say, dude, that looks like shit.
The best thing is 4 people looking at the paint job,
right?
And all of us missed one piece of mask.
Yeah.
The entire paint job went down with a piece of mask on. Oh my God!
Yeah.
But that's also a great story, though.
It is, and I'm out because I'm blind, so I'm good.
You always go look at that paint job or think about that, and always have a story with it. Because every build, I'm sure you guys have done, including myself, always has this story about. Oh my God, do you remember that?
Yeah, and here's my thing. You can be all the craftsmen in the world. You can be the best at the best. To me, the best guy is the guy that can overcome the biggest problem. Yeah. So you know, we literally have overcome that problem. So. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to have those people behind you and have the relationships that you can walk in, and like I said, Chris takes 5 hours building a mountain. I walk in there 2.5 hours putting a gas tank on, and I open the door and go, "Why is the gas tank so fucking crooked?" You know, like he just throws a tool. But
what a dick!
Yeah, it's good to have that. So.
It's fun.
All right, man. Well, listen, we kept you for a good long time on here. I super appreciate you sitting in with us tonight, and I'm looking forward to this. Yeah,
I'm the one that's honored. Thank you guys. I appreciate your support. You guys have been so amazing and so kind, and what you're doing for the industry, what you're doing with us, we're super happy to have you guys a part of the Dream Chopper, and just thank you guys.
Right on, man.
Oh,
I'm
super excited too.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about bringing Chris to the shop, though.
It'll be fun. It'll be great. We'll let you go.
Like, I may have to leave him there, though. Like, just so you know.
Good.
Heather, I know off the top of my head they have at least 10 tools that I don't have in my shop. So I'm going to point them out. I'm going to point them out. All right, man.
You can go sweep floors there.
Somebody got to do it.
All right, buddy. Well, we'll catch you on the flip. Thanks for being on again.
Thanks, you guys. We'll talk soon. You guys have a great weekend.
You also.
All right, man.
Or what's left of it. Yeah,
right.
What a good dude.
So great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am genuinely worried about bringing you to that shop.
Don't. It's going to be fun. It'll be fun.
Oh, please.
Everything's going to be
year,
okay.
I'll be like, you'll be like, did you see that twisting machine? Did you see that brake? Did you see that CNC? I'll be like, yes, no.
Okay,
no.
Let's get back into the news because we have a couple things to go through. Actually, we're going to take 2 seconds and give some love to our sponsors. I'll remind you guys that we're coming to you live like we do every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studios, and this is Shop Talk. In case you're wondering what the hell you're listening to, don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Marvelous party, darling. See you in Monaco.
Indeed.
Bro, you know how to throw down.
It's literally all I do.
Yo, this was turned.
Yes, it was turned.
Dude, hit me! Okay, too much heat.
My bad.
Come, join us.
Do you mind if
Keep it.
Next party is at my house.
Let's do it here.
I was hoping you'd say that.
I've never held a can before.
I think you're doing it right.
I'm pretty sure this is us.
Twisted Tea. Keep it twisted!
I joined the military straight out of high school because I felt like I really needed some direction in my life. And what I got out of it was a sense of purpose and, more importantly, to be part of a brotherhood. I started riding when I was 21 on sport bikes like most of us do when we're 21 years old. Quickly, I transitioned into love of a cruiser. My perfect ride would be with all my buddies with me, riding on the coast of the ocean. There's something amazing about having all your friends with you in the perfect scenery all at the same time. My bike is a 2015 Harley-Davidson Dyna Fat Bob. My favorite upgrades to it so far are my custom fairing and my 16-inch ape hanger handlebars. My name is Brandon LaBelle, and I'm a Dennis Kirk rider.
Okay, so I got to say right off the bat, that effing Twisted Tea commercial is the funniest shit.
Right?
Oh my God, do I love that. So that brings up a special thing that we want to talk about here. We are just over the 1 month mark, 1 month left to put your entries in for the chance to win this custom Twisted Tea motorcycle. This is something our friends over at Twisted Tea do every year. They have a motorcycle built to show love back to the people that take care of them out at the rallies. You can simply go to twistedtea.com, throw your name in for a chance to win this bike. There's no strings, no tricks, no gimmicks. You put your name in the hat.
No bullshit. It's cool as hell.
Right?
Bottom
That's
line, that bike turned out
one of my
badass.
favorite Twisted Tea bikes.
You know, we say that about every one when they're done, but
No, I really mean it about this one. Like
yeah.
this one,
Yeah.
I'm going to be hard pressed to let go.
I agree. This thing is just so comfortable and we've had big people and little people on it.
Yep.
It fits everybody.
Yeah.
It's like just too cool.
So we're going to have this bike with us at Willie's Chopper Time. That gives us an opportunity to talk about the fact that next week it's up.
Chopper time.
Chopper Time. We're going to be in Florida hanging out with the cool kids at Willie's Tropical Tattoo for the Chopper Time show. Can't wait. We're going to have the Twisted Tea bike with us. Heather and I are actually going to be staying in Daytona for a little bit. We got a special project we're working on and finishing an issue of the magazine. And then after that, who knows? We might be going up to see Brother Barry. We'll see what's going on. But
Yeah, there's so many places I want to go. Like I'm ready to be on the road.
let's see in the comments. Anyone else going to Biketoberfest? Who's going to be there?
Who's going to Chopper Time?
In the meantime, I'm also going to bring up another event that we're looking forward to in December. This is December 5th and 6th over in Lakeland, Florida, the Indoor Custom Bike Show. Central Florida's second annual Indoor Custom Bike Show, and this is put on by our friend Jason, everybody over at Cycle Stop USA, and really looking to make a different kind of bike show, you know, something that's really founded in the builders and the craftsmen and stuff. So we're super excited to be part of that. We signed on to come in to do media stuff, and Flat Broke Chops and Rods is going to be there. So that's pretty bitchin'. That means I'm going to try to drag Mark to Florida in December. What's up?
Yeah, we're hoping we can pull that one off. So
Yeah, I know. And that's another bitch of 2020.
yes, sir.
Boy.
Miss Judy just put in her bid for us to go to New England.
Right on. So Brian Wooford, says, see you guys in Daytona rolling south from Carolina. Let's ride. You going to be at the Broken Spoke? No, Lance Baxter, we're not. It doesn't sound like the Spoke is opening, but...
No, they don't usually open for Biketoberfest. That's the only reason we're not going to be there. We're just going to we're going to be at Willie's for the day, and then we're going to be working.
So let me just reinforce the December show in Florida is the Central Florida Wheels of Steel. Sorry, I didn't get that. This all just went down. So give me a little time here to get it under my belt. We're actually going to have Jason Holman on next week, and hopefully he's going to have some builders from the show. It'll be bitchin'. Anthony Robinson. I'll be going to V-Twin Visionary show in Stockton, California. So Jeff and the V-Twin Visionary crew just put on the Smoky Mountain deal, right? I've heard really, really good things about it. Everybody's on their way back home from that, so congratulations to him for a great event. I think we have one more piece of news to get to, and this comes in from Dunlop announcing their Humble Heroes project. Rancho Cucamonga. I wanted to get to this news piece just so I could say that. There are humble heroes all around us, the ones you don't hear about, who forgo sleep and work impossible hours in constant danger, and the ones who battle on the front lines of the pandemic and put themselves last to take care of us first. There are many words to describe them: professional, compassionate, selfless, dedicated, brave, tireless, but we simply call them heroes. At Dunlop, we want to honor these humble heroes by giving you the opportunity to nominate a healthcare worker or first responder who went above and beyond during the pandemic, and we'll reward one individual with a new 2020 Harley-Davidson XL 1200 Sportster. So how do they do this, Heather? And Heather.
You did it to me again. Crickets.
Listen,
Crickets.
I'm trying so hard for you to be our Robin Quivers. I really want you to be
I don't
Robin.
want to be Robin Quivers.
But
I
you,
want to
you
be
have
Heather
to be
because
because
I don't know who
me
Robin
and Mark
Quivers
are
is.
still trying to be
No.
Howard and
I narrowed myself down to one F-bomb this whole show.
I know.
Okay, so make sure you view the contest information about Humble Heroes Project as soon as the program kicks off on September 3rd, 2020. So we should be able to click here.
Click there.
Humble Heroes.
I'm going to post a link in the comments section.
There you go.
So people can do that.
Contest ends November 15th. Submit up to a 500-word essay about your own humble hero through the essay upload link on their site. That's dunlopheroes.com. You can also post a video no longer than 5 minutes via social media channels. And be sure to use hashtag Dunlop Humble Heroes, hashtag Ride Dunlop, at Ride Dunlop. Really cool for somebody to do this, especially, like, listen, not a lot of people this year are probably buying motorcycle tires. So when you see a company like Dunlop go out of their way to do something like this is about strengthening community. This is about going against all the bullshit you see the talking heads on the regular news media talking about how we're all divided and we're all different and we're all this other bullshit. This is a company that's saying, hey, look, we're all in this together. So good for Dunlop, man. Congratulations to them.
Amen.
Mark?
Well, I don't even know. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Huh? You could be one of the guys eligible to win this. I might put a little video together about you.
We're not allowed to win anything. We're never allowed to win anything.
You can win that. You don't
Heather
work
bitch
for
about
Dunlop.
that all the time. How come we can't enter it?
You don't work for Dunlop.
You
You're
can.
good.
You don't work for Dunlop, and they don't work with us. Well, I shouldn't say it like that. We are not affiliated with Dunlop in an official capacity.
So listen,
So you're eligible.
I do want to remind everybody again, and let me see if I can bring this up while we're talking about it. We do have our nominations going on for the Year in Review Best of Awards. So if you will kindly go to Cycle Source Magazine on Facebook or on our Instagram page, and I'm going to bring it up here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. We're asking for your nominations for Man of the Year, Woman of the Year.
You got to put your nomination in if you want your person to win.
Yeah.
So
it starts with the nomination. If we only have 3 people in for Man of the Year or Woman of the Year, it's not much of a vote. So take a couple minutes. Make sure you guys are helping us out with this. This is what the page looks like. The place you want to go. This is our nominations for women. This is our nomination for Man of the Year. And throughout this next week, you'll see all the rest of the categories going up on Cycle Source Magazine, Facebook, and Instagram. Please help us out with that. Speaking of one of the people that's nominated for Woman of the Year this year, Tuesday night, we do another show here we help out with. We do the engineering for Chris Summer Simmons, Coast to Coast. And if you haven't watched that, it's
cool show.
It really is, man. Yeah. Great about the history of motorcycling, women in motorcycling. There's some music stuff. It's her and Michael Lichter having great conversations, and they have had some outstanding guests. Yeah, the last 3 or 4 shows of her, it's embarrassed me that we haven't put more forethought into Shop Talk because they're kicking ass. Also,
that's a terrible thing to say. Brian Nichols wants to know if you got his gift.
I did. You know what? Go ahead and talk for a minute. Go ahead and tell people why.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Tell people why neither you nor I can be nominated in this, and I'll be right back with that gift.
So, Chris and I, while we appreciate people's nominations, we respectfully decline them because it's our magazine. We can't be nominated in our own publication for Best of. We do truly, truly appreciate it, but we really want you to think about those people in the industry who are good ambassadors. Not even those people, but those parts, the custom parts, the performant parts, what your favorite manufactured bike of the year was. So really just think about those artists of the year, craftsmen of the year.
Okay, that's enough. I'm ready. So
she never even mentioned once, don't be flooding my name in there, You
can't listen.
Keep me out of this.
I super appreciate it. Like, we see every one of you guys that's asking for me as Man of the Year, Mark as Man of the Year, Heather as Woman of the Year. Nobody that works for the magazine, technically, I mean the direct people responsible for the magazine are eligible for this because it'd be super unfair, and it would also be.
We'll win every year. You know what I mean?
No, We'd be super big assholes for doing that. So we're not doing that. But
well, I mean, that's not the only reason we'd be that, but
Please nominate the people that do deserve this, because there's so many people in the motorcycle industry that do this just for the love of it, and they deserve the kind of respect and recognition that goes along with this.
You know who I'm going to nominate for Sportsman of the Year? I want to nominate Ashley Woodford.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
She got two land speed records. I want to nominate Ashley for Sportsman
I want to
of the
nominate
Year
for
this year.
Motorcycles Woman of the Year, Stephanie Peets.
Yes.
You know?
Yep.
But that's what we're looking for, man. We're looking for your suggestions for that. And Chris Summer Simmons, we're absolutely looking for you to chime in on this too. So we're going to send you an individual email and ask you for your nominations. Get ready. But like Heather was saying, I get some of the coolest stuff people send to me, friends and, people that read the magazine and stuff. Well, anybody that knows me knows that, like, on my old shovelhead or panhead motorcycle, I'm not real big on actual choke knobs. I generally use a little roach clip because I'm a recovering head, and I don't think that much about needing a choke knob. I just put my roach clip and pull the little lever up and put the roach clip on, and as the motorcycle starts to rumble, the choke comes down, and it works pretty good. Brian Nichols saw fit to provide me with an accessory that is going immediately on my Something Wicked shovel head, and it's a choke knob, which you can see here, operates like a normal choke knob, but the knob part is the cool part, right? You ready for this? He wanted to make sure that on my shovel head, whenever I saw fit, I could choke my chicken.
It's a giver.
Oh my God.
Goodness.
Oh boy.
So
you hear crickets?
Oh, we just got a nomination for Angelle Sampi. She was an amazing guest.
Yeah, she was on
Coast to Coast.
How long ago was she on Coast to Coast? A week or two?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks, yep. Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. What do you think? I think it's time to pull this one off the tracks and put it back in the station for another week. We love all of you guys for continuing to watch this bullshit that we do. Through COVID, it's been my absolute honor. I know I speak for Heather and Mark about this, to do our little part to keep this crazy, reckless community together until we can all get back out on the road. And we're looking forward to 2021 and having some beers and some motorcycle riding time with all of you guys. Until then, we're going to do it all we can from right here in the Mobile Command Center. And that's it for this week, man. Make sure you tune in next week.
Wait a minute, real quick.
Oh boy.
Drew Woodford
This better
has a
be
new
good.
name. Actually, Santa. Oh, it is good because I get to call you a peckerhead on air thanks to Drew
Santa
Woodford.
would call that a
you're
peckerhead.
new.
That's so good. How could I forget that? That would be a peckerhead. I could choke my peckerhead.
That's perfect.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Sorry.
Real nice.
Boy, I'm glad you stopped my whole ending for that, Blondie. So listen, until next week, turn off the friggin' television. Don't listen to the idiots.
Don't listen
Call
to
up
the
a
news.
friend. Go for a ride. Let that shit go. In the great words of Buddha, let that shit go. Until
Amen.
next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, when we go live with another episode of Shop Talk. Same motorcycle time.
Oh boy, you
Same
screwed
motorcycle
everything
channel.
all up.
Here, let's try it again. Same motorcycle time.
No.
I said same motorcycle channel.
You didn't say it
I
fast
said it.
enough. Who screwed up?
I don't know, but
You
shut
screwed
up,
up.
Felicia.